Potter's Journal, 2017. Potter's Journal, 2017. It's been 1 year now. I've been keeping this and returned the clay. Keeping this video journal as well, maybe called a vlog? I don't know. It's not in my dictionary. But it has been an adventure, and maybe time before we start the new year for a review. See where we've been and then think about where we're gonna go. I had made a couple pots in the past few years, some stamped commemorative pieces for a local fair, but started with a look back to past successes, from 25 years or more back, and then tried to maybe exaggerate the forms, but somehow they just looked a bit contrived. It might have been interesting. I'd seen some folk art pieces of wash basins and ovaled altered pots. I didn't go this way, but this could have been a good direction. But I did try some things that went way back, some funny handled mugs that I made many years ago. Maybe this was about 83 I went back to for those. Okay, but when I jumped into the studio for production, just basically repeated some things from the past, mugs, pie plates. I dropped real fast the batter bowl, the heart-shaped batter bowl. And then, paid some real close attention to how I was putting the handles on. That I did a deep V cut in a handle, and then when I pushed it on, it arched and flared out to make a real nice fit on the mug. Okay, here we go. Some garlic jars, a set of Nest Baker bowls. Okay, I had some an inventory of wooden metal handles, like basket handles, and thought of putting them on a watering can, and used inspiration of a batter pourer or a coffee pot. This was another direction that I didn't go in, but we'll hold in reserve maybe for some time in the future. But this year's returning to pottery making was a lot about figuring out what a 12, or I forget how many old buckets of glaze, what the buckets of glaze would do at cone 6 oxidation. But the only big pots I did were some repeats of years past successes. The glazes didn't work for me on these, so that's another we'll have to return to. But I did work out some mostly glaze successes, and even glaze layering with some detailed notes on which one went under and over. Okay, some pig banks, details on the parts that are put on, wine tumblers, and yeah, really fun when I finally tried something new, something I don't remember existing 25 years ago, the double bowls. Okay, I had a special order for some a bonsai pot, but did a series of them and combined that with sake set to complement it, some tea bowls, and a yarn bowl. There was one. I was sure that was just something people said, "Do you make?" But they actually did buy them. And then did the double bowl in another size, and the pig in another size. And then just so I'd have some variety, did just a couple of this wavy scallop bowl and a couple luminaria and clay baskets, just so I would have some variety in what I was doing. After selling a couple pieces, my first big production run was the double bowls. So not only did I make a certain amount of double bowls, but you had to have 2 bowls for each double. So that was the first big production run. And I even drew them all out. And counted my winter production, which was, I'm newly back to this, only about 300 pots. And started to think, since I can only really work on pottery in the winter, what direction I could go next and how I might decorate things. Yeah, once again, interest in something and an idea for a wedding gift. I did the wavy edged bowl in a number of sizes, and after selling a couple tea bowls, a small series of tea bowls, a great deal of interest in the sake, or as I called them, shots. However, in the end of the year now, I can say I don't think I sold one after all the interest. Okay, something else that didn't happen, some sgraffito on redware. I actually did start this piece, but yeah, the clay body must have been a problem. It split in the drying. But out of the studio in the spring, busy with my nursery. Okay, and well, I know I did get in with this special order for a flying saucer or a grape leaf weight. And it was actually a special order for a dozen pieces. Another special order, dinnerware. Okay, and fortunately she said she could wait. I could make it in January. So that's what's coming up next when we pull out the new journal. But out of the studio in the summer, I went to a 50s, 60s cookbook. Cooking in Portugal and Spain that had actually a lot of folk pottery from even an earlier era. And one of the dishes actually looked pretty good, so I copied down the recipe. And was most intrigued, since I make a lot of spouted drugs by the Batijo, pictured throughout the cookbook. And I did make a small series of these. But might be an idea for a larger series where I do maybe 100 pots where each one's different. Okay, so always thinking about what's next and looking for inspiration somewhere. Still going through books. Let's see, I turned to a garden book looking for pottery too. Still in Spain. Maybe started by watching Simon Leach in Spain. And then picked up a piece of garden pottery. Here did a tracing of a production Italian mold-made piece. Also picked up at a yard sale place I used to work, Westerwald Pottery. Here's a water bucket with that handle that I have some of those handles, and also picked up a face mug. Another thing I have a special order for, and even traveled to Seagrove, North Carolina, and saw some great face jugs in the North Carolina Ceramic Center. That's a video I just uploaded. And the big surprise, doing a production run for my niece, which I called my pottery apprentice, to decorate. And she brought her henna-inspired designs and patterns to my studio, and here was something I never thought I would do or look at. So this was a new direction. I've got to work on the slip, though. I just drew cobalt and white in a jar, and I think I better, for her next year, mix up a recipe, so it'll, yeah, so her pieces turn out better. So a fault of mine there. And then working at my the local historic village, making 100 pots there, demonstrating in the afternoons for a week. Garlic jars, since it was a historic village. I did candle holders. And batter bowls. Oh, but I snuck in some of those yarn bowls too. Okay, and the lids. And the pies, which I put in the bread oven, the wood-fired bread oven at the historic village. Okay, that was a fun video to do. And this is something I will be starting 2018 uploads soon, and this is going to be my first big project, is the pies. Okay, and some bowls. And I started to think about that dinnerware commission I've got. Another thing I'll be starting in 2018. And here's the tracing of that lampshade that didn't fit on the candle holders because I forgot. Okay, and then, yeah, I had the special order, or not special order, a friend with a gallery said, "Do you make any musical pieces?" So, I had done some large sculpture based on the horn, musical instrument, and made a okay, yeah, put it on the side of the mugs. Okay, another, yeah, uploaded video, the music medallion mugs and matching sculpture, and then after that uploaded the video, musical horn sculpture and matching mugs. So that was only a small summer sculpture series. Maybe this next summer we can do, yeah, a larger series, summer sculpture series. Okay, and then, yeah, putting together inventory for a couple of consignment shops at Christmas. I put together a pottery celebration with the sake or shots, the wine tumblers, the batijo, which, yeah, we'll use here for wine as opposed to water, some pies for baking holiday pies, and the double bowl. Okay, and then, yeah, finishing up the year with that visit to Seagrove, North Carolina, and collecting the candlesticks at Jugtown Pottery. Okay, and then starting, I'll be, yeah, thinking about next year, 2018, and which way I will go then. So we'll have to see, yeah, I'll have to say, stop back, subscribe, and see what happens. That, okay, there's some pages we have to keep hidden here because of a secret project that we'll announce about mid-year maybe if it happens. Something I'm starting to research. And then notes here in the book when we did the studio escape into the old truck body on, yeah, what kind of materials I found in the truck body, how much, let's see, notes on mixing glazes. Okay, yeah, what kind of materials I found. My rare old, since I was away from this for 30 years, Albany slip clay. Wow, I've got 50 pounds. I could probably sell that for quite a bit of money since they don't mind it anymore. I'll have to see how I can ration it now. When I first mixed up, or yeah, used the clays, I thought, how am I going to get rid of this ugly brown glaze? And now found that I need to ration it. So, okay, that was it. That was it. Okay, I didn't set the world on fire, but we got started. And okay, just a minute. Over here in the corner next year, brand new. Okay, not a page marked in it yet. Stop back and see what happens in the studio next year. See if we can fill this up with something new. Maybe next year we can set the world on fire. Okay, and until that, let's see. How does this go? Subscribe, comment, and okay, like and stop back. Okay, Potter's Journal 2017. 2018's coming up.